guys, we're Jimmy and Jules, and welcome to our show, Impulse Cash Flow.
This is Impulse Cash Flow. We talk all things real estate. We've been investing in real estate for about 14 years now, progressing ourselves to short-term rentals, fix and flips, to buy and holds, and we just want to provide tremendous value to our friends, family, and our audience. As today's guest is Jillian Sidoti, who's an expert at raising capital. All right, Jillian, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here today. I know we're really excited to work with you. I've been working with you behind the scenes, and there's a wealth of information, so I'm super excited to have you here. Now, if you could tell us, who you are, where you grew up from, and how you got into real estate.
Well, thanks guys for having me. So I actually had a pretty interesting real estate situation when, I got into it. I was in law school at the time and didn't want to be a lawyer at all, and thought, you know what, I'm going to figure out how to get into real estate. And so I had a degree in finance, so I put my my resume out to every single real estate investment firm in San Diego until somebody bit, and I offered to do whatever. I didn't have to do anything in finance. I just wanted to learn the business. So I offered to file for people or answer their phones or whatever. I just wanted to learn the business. And so a company did hire me, and they actually didn't hire me because I had a finance degree. They hired me because I had started my own business, and they thought I had entrepreneurial skills, and they liked that about me. So that's how I got my first job in real estate. And I started off doing some really simple stuff, and then moved up to doing full-blown condominium conversions, where we would buy apartment buildings and then convert them into condos. And that was super fun, super exciting, very challenging, because you're taking an entire building and taking it down to the studs, and then revamping the whole thing and selling them off as individual condos. So
that's really cool. So in order to get to where you started, growing up, learning about wanting to be an attorney or a lawyer, and then investing into real estate, did you have help? What was the mindset shift behind all that?
I think, if you really want to get deep about this, I think I came from, no, seriously though, I think, and I might be just speaking for myself, I don't know how you guys grew up, but I grew up with it constantly being drilled into my head. You have to go to college. You must go to college. Going to college is probably the most important thing you're going to do. And by the way, after you get to college, that's not enough. You've got to go to another college after that. That is what I was constantly told. Once you work really hard in high school, you must get into a good college. But you can't just get a bachelor's degree, because that is not enough to make it in the world. So you've got to get some other degree. I actually went to law school under complete duress. It was just something I had to do. I had to get it out of the way. I have a completely different mindset about that now, especially with my own kids, because you can learn anything you want to learn on the internet. I don't necessarily recommend learning surgery on the internet, but you can definitely learn real estate investing, and you can definitely, you find a couple of key masterminds or mentors, which is what I did after getting all this education. Was I went to masterminds and found mentors. That is really how to learn real estate. That is really how to break into this business, is to find yourself a good mentor, and don't be afraid to pay for it. Because I think at the beginning, the reason why I went out and got a job in real estate was because I thought that was the only way you could learn real estate. I didn't realize that there was this whole world of mentorship. And of course, I started back in 2004, 2005, and the amount of information on the internet didn't yet exist as it does today. Yeah,
absolutely. I started in 2007. And then up until 4 years ago, I'm like, whoa, what is all this information? And literally my mind is just blown out of the water.
Yeah.
It's just propelled ever since.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And so to me, what I would say to people is just, be a sponge, but don't be a sponge to the point where you don't act, where you just get analysis paralysis. I see that all the time, where people are I just gotta get more information. I just gotta know more. I gotta understand more. I gotta get more. And you realize like, no, you can actually act now. Go out and act. Do some acting.
Yeah, we'll take massive action for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what kind of clients have you worked with?
So, well, after I started doing real estate, as you know, and it sounds like you got into the real estate game at a very inopportune time in 2007, because, we saw the crash in 2008. I actually got out of real estate at the beginning of 2007. That was when I knew things were like, this isn't going well. It's not going to go well. We got really fortunate in that regard. It wasn't that we were fortune tellers, but we just could see things were changing, not for the better. And so I got out, and that's when I started practicing law. And the natural progression from, being in real estate was to help people start figuring out how to raise money for their real estate. And so I built a law firm based on that premise. Like, I'm going to help entrepreneurs and businesses figure out how to raise capital for their deals. And that worked out great because I ended up getting the more I did it and the more inventive or the more helpful I got, the more of a problem solver I became for the clients, as opposed to just telling them, no, they can't do that, the better the clientele I got. More people started seeking me out. And so one of my biggest clients is a guy that a lot of people know, a guy named Cardone. He wrote a book called 10X. He's been on Undercover Billionaire, but he has over $1 billion in assets under management, mostly in multifamily. And I also worked for the guys who ran and owned Bigger Pockets. I see his name. Tarek Moussa from Flip or Flop was one of my clients. So we've had some really great opportunities to work with some really huge people in the business and help them figure out how to raise capital for their deals. And I'm going to tell you right now, those guys don't do anything different than what your listeners should be doing to help to raise money for their real estate opportunities. They can do the same exact things now, albeit they don't have access to millions of dollars in marketing money or access to a national TV network, but they do have access to YouTube and access to Facebook and access to TikTok and LinkedIn and all these places where you can get your message out there about your deals and what you're doing.
So everyone's on the same level, whether if you're Grant Cardone or Jimmy Gonzales.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because you have the same opportunity to crank out content on what separates you, or to educate people about what kind of real estate that they should get into. I do the same exact thing for my business. I haven't been doing it as much as I used to when I was at the law firm. I sold the law firm back in November, and I've been able to live off the previous marketing that I did before. But, if I ever find a slump in business, that's how I'm going to crank up the marketing machine, is just get that content out there. Tell people exactly why they should raise money for their real estate deals and how to do it. So, and that's the pattern. Jimmy, you and I have talked about this. What's the pattern? Tell people why, tell people what, and how you're going to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that kind of leads us into our next section, to how can we educate our viewers on, how to do this. So in your sector or section, or what your profession is, what can you explain what a security is? Absolutely.
So the thing people need to understand is that when you're raising capital from investors, you're entering in a whole other body of law that is governed by this thing called the big law is the Securities Act of 1933. It's like the law that ends all laws when it comes to raising money from investors. And what I often find from real estate entrepreneurs, and rightfully so, because nobody wants to be, burdened by laws, right, is that they try to get out of securities laws. They try to figure out ways around securities laws. And my advice to you is to not do that, because here is what a security is. There's a test for it, and it's a 4-pronged test. It's, is there an investment of money? So if your investors are investing money, not credit, not time, not property, but money. Are they investing money? Are they all investing money for the same particular purpose? So in other words, is there more than one investor? Are those investors who are investing looking to make money off their investment? In other words, it's not a donation. They're looking to get their money back plus something else, and that can be interest, it can be profits, it can be a preferred return, whatever it is. Are they looking to make money on their money? And finally, is it through it's called through the efforts of a promoter, meaning that somebody's raising the money from you and then making that money work for you. In other words, are your investors passive? That's the best way to describe it, is, are your investors passive? So if you say yes to all those questions when you're out there raising money, is there an investment of money? Is there more than one investor? Are they looking to make money on their money? And are they all doing it under somebody else's control? Then those are investors that are falling under securities laws, and you have to follow the securities laws.
Got it. And then securities is Securities Exchange Commission.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, and then there's also state securities regulators as well. So you have to deal with both of them. But, fear not, there's exemptions to, the rules. There's exemptions from full-blown registration, and that's what most real estate entrepreneurs do, is that they use an exemption under what's called, and a lot of you probably heard of this, called Regulation D. And under Regulation D, there's 2 rules that we focus on. There's more than 2, but we focus on 2 of them. And that's Rule 506B as in boy and Rule 506C as in Charlie. Under one of those rules, you can raise money from your friends and family, and as long as they're as long as you don't raise more than 35 money from 35 what are called sophisticated investors, and as many accredited investors as you want. And those sophisticated investors must be sufficiently sophisticated to understand the risks associated with investing. And that's a subjective test. But you can't do any advertising for those investors. You have to have what's called a substantive pre-existing relationship. That's 506B as in boy. And then we have 506C as in Charlie. And under 506C as in Charlie, you can raise up to as much money as you want from accredited investors only. And you can use advertising. And an accredited investor is somebody who makes $200,000 a year as an individual, $300,000 a year as a married couple, or has a net worth of $1 million exclusive of their primary residence. So you only have to reach one of those things, the 200, the 300, the million, and that makes a person accredited. They either are or they aren't. And those people can always invest with you. You can advertise for those people. They can be total strangers, but you cannot take any money from anybody who is not accredited.
No, I mean, a lot of it was right over my head, but.
Well, I mean, Jillian, to be honest with you, like, I probably heard this thing like 17 times of like how to, like, numbers and letters and C's and A's and CFs, and it's just like, wow. But then, it's a lot to absorb. But then, however, you have a really good way of presenting it. And then when I was in your program, it literally clicked, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so, like, you guys have charts and programs, and the way you said it, it just all made sense. It all started funneling into better understanding. Yeah,
and what I try to explain to people, I want to say to anybody over there who, does have it go straight over their heads to not feel bad, because here's the situation. I went to my very first foray into this area of law, and this is absolute true story. I was at a event, and the teacher in the event comes up to me and goes, "What are you doing?" Like, it was another educational event I was at for real estate. And I go, I'm studying for the bar, because I wasn't paying attention in the class that I was in. I was busy studying for the bar. And he goes, why are you in this class if you're busy studying for the bar? I'm like, I don't know, my company wanted me to come to this class. They thought it was really important, but I really shouldn't be here right now. I should be studying for the bar. And the guy's like, forget about it. Just cut. Let's go to lunch. And so we go to lunch, and he goes, what are you doing like right now? Like, what are you doing for work that you're studying for the bar? I was like, well, I was in law school and I decided I wanted to get into real estate, but I still want to take the bar. And he goes, well, what do you do for the company? And I go, oh, well, I raise capital and I figure out where all the money's coming from. I get the money from the bank, and then I get the money from private investors. And he goes, well, what documentation are you using for the investors? And I go, what documentation? And he goes, you can't just raise money from investors. There's laws to follow. And I go, what laws? So when you're feeling bad, like, oh my God, this is going over my head, here I am studying for the bar exam and totally doing everything wrong and illegally, and then sheer panic just came over me, like, oh my gosh, there's laws, I could get in a lot of trouble here. Right. So anybody who is out there listening and feels like, wow, this is a lot, A, don't feel bad. B, there's a ton of free information out there, like search for it, like read as much as you can, but be careful on, again, over analyzing, because 3C, whatever you want, 3 or C, what you really should be doing is hiring a qualified securities attorney to help guide you through this and figure this out. And I'm not practicing law anymore, but there are plenty of, wonderful securities attorneys out there that can speak to you in plain language and help you figure out what's right for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I could probably ask you tons more questions, but then I'll probably just start losing people. But so we'll kind of shift it to, like, what's a big tip that you can share with people who want to invest in real estate?
If you want, for me, if you want to invest in real estate, you really just want to watch markets and not watch the crowd, but really watch markets and understand the terminology, and don't be afraid to ask questions. That's the biggest thing, is ask questions. If you have the question, you are not going to look stupid. If you don't know what cap rate is, ask someone or Google search it. Don't sit there and struggle.
Yeah, Google has everything.
And if Google isn't satisfactory, ask. And this applies to almost everything in life, right? Like, not just real estate, but like last night I was talking to my CPA, and I was like, oh, I did this thing because I read online, like blah, 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 whatever it was. And he goes, yeah, no, for your situation, it's this rule. And I'm like, but everything that said online said this thing. And he goes, no, I'm telling you, for your situation, it's this thing. So, always ask somebody. There's tons of people want to be helpful and will be happy to answer your questions.
No, and that's why it's crucial to have a power team, people on your team that has all that information with you.
Or know where to get it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Being super resourceful.
Yeah.
What would you say your secret to success is?
It depends on the day you're asking me. Am I having a massive anxiety attack about all the things I have to do, or am I calm, cool, and collected? I really think, honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, at the end of the day, if I've ever found myself in a point of trouble or, stressed out about something, I realized if you act with kindness and recognize that no matter who you're dealing with, you act with kindness, that will serve you well at the end of the day. Even if you don't want to act with kindness, even if you really don't like somebody, you don't have to continue to do business with them. You don't have to interact with them, but you do have to be kind to them, because you just never know when that's going to come back, help you at the end of the day. And personally, I had a situation where a person came to me. They had a problem. For all intents and purposes, they didn't look like an honorable human being. Like, there were things that were just not right there. And instead of, calling them out on that or being rude to them. I leaned in and I acted with kindness. And here several years later, I have been granted a huge business opportunity because I treated that person with kindness all those years ago.
That can apply to any profession too.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. And just life in general, right?
Yeah. I mean, just being successful just within your day, you know, planning,
right.
You know, it could be so micro level to macro level.
Yeah, because you just never know what somebody else is going through too, right? You just never know where their head is at or what their situation is.
No, absolutely. You know, like we're juggling 2 kids, multiple jobs,
yeah,
a bunch of different businesses. So I mean, like it's a puppy. You know, what I mean? just him not chewing the furniture is big success. You know?
Oh, dude, I haven't had a puppy in a long time, but I remember those days. I have 2 older dogs now, but like, I remember those days. And you're like, but those are my favorite shoes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, shoes for sure.
Those good ones.
Yeah. All right, so this leads us into our next round. This came from our girls. It's called the Would You Rather game.
I play this one with my kids too, and it's like, would you rather buy me this toy or this toy? So neither, boys. All right, go ahead. I love this, so go ahead.
All right, we'll start us off.
Would you rather hot dog or hamburger?
Is it a beef hot dog? No, I'm gonna go with the hamburger.
Perfect. Would you rather fly to the moon or stay on land?
Oh wow, that sounds like a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm gonna fly to the moon.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Classic car or muscle car?
Oh, I think I'm gonna go with the muscle car.
Yeah. Would you rather go to the beach or the mountains?
You're in California, and I live in Temecula, so it's an hour either way. So I'm gonna go with the beach.
Oh, very nice.
Okay, stocks or real estate?
Oh, come on, guys! These are hard questions. Real estate's always gonna win, but I do invest in stock as well.
Single family or multifamily?
Multifamily. Sorry guys, in single family, but it's multifamily all the way.
Oh, for sure, I get it.
Okay, residential or commercial?
It depends on the commercial. If you're talking self-storage, I will take that over residential. But if you're talking office, I'd probably take residential over office.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Would you rather do active income or passive income?
Oh, passive. 1,000%. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even though you make more money with the passive, I'm a better active. You make more money with the active, I'm a better passive investor.
For sure. No, that's a good analogy, a good way of looking at it, because some people are like, they don't realize like you can make way more money on the active side. But on the passive side, you know, it's just more, you know,
supplements your lifestyle.
Exactly.
Oh, it absolutely does. You sit home and collect a check. I mean, like, I don't have to go to the building and do an inspection or anything like that. So, and yeah, I've made a lot of money doing active investments. I also lost a lot of sleep over them. So,
yeah, it's true. All right. Would you rather go to a webinar or a seminar?
Right now, I know this is going to sound terrible. I hate going to both. COVID made me go like, I love staying home, but my attention span for a webinar is really bad. I'm going to go seminar because I just want to, I think I'd like to start talking to and seeing people again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We get a lot of that. So this moves us into our next round, which is the tidal wave round.
Okay.
So what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? My kids and I love to travel, so we travel quite a bit. This summer we went to Alaska and Puerto Rico, so we went to like 2 different ends of the U.S.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, what's your favorite book, real estate or business?
Real estate or business? Well, one of the first books I read was The 1 Minute Millionaire, and I thought that was really great. Yeah. But you know what book I would recommend to everybody just to understand, not really to implement? The 48 Laws of Power. And I'll probably get in a lot of trouble for saying that because it's a terribly evil book. But if you know how to like read it, it will help you in a lot of situations, like in terms of like understanding where someone else is coming from.
Gotcha. Well, the good news is we only have about 50 subscribers, but like 5 years from now, you'll probably be in a lot of trouble.
Well, the 48 Laws of Power just basically tell you how to like control, like, you know, implement power over somebody else. It's actually banned in prisons because they don't want prisoners trying to implement this stuff. But I read it the first time I read it, I was like, this book is disgusting. This shouldn't exist. And now I look back on it and I go, no, this is a great way to understand situations that you're in.
Yeah, like where someone else is coming from, so you're not manipulated.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Because I will tell you right now, especially through COVID, I experienced a lot of that, of people trying to take advantage, of people trying to like maneuver into situations. And because I knew some of those laws, I could recognize that behavior before it became a problem.
What's your future goals?
My future goals is to work less.
Same.
Well, the whole goal is, you know, to not just work less, but to be with family more, you know. I know kids, you know, they want to go to the park all day long.
They want to play video games all day long. I wish they wanted to go to the park all day long, but no, right now, you know, they're moving into that area. But no, but like, I will tell you this, one of the massive mistakes I made when my kids were little was like, I was just working constantly. I never had time to go to like be the volunteer mom at school. And now after selling my law firm and focusing mostly on my investing activities, which gives you just so much more freedom, I am able to do those things, you know, and say like, yeah, I'll make cupcakes for you. I mean, it's COVID, so you can't make cupcakes for anybody, but I have that freedom now where I could go like, yeah, I'll make the cupcakes for this event, or, you know, I'll cut out the construction paper figures or whatever. I have the time to do that now.
That's awesome. Now, what would you say what your biggest learning experience is?
I will say, especially in the last year, that you really, one thing I definitely regret doing is I gave up way too early on mine and my husband's music careers. You know, and if you have a dream, you have got to lean into that dream with everything you have, no matter who is discouraging you. And I had a lot of, I mean, like, again, I was encouraged, like, go to college, get a master's degree of some sort, get a job. And I wish I leaned into following my own personal dreams a little more and less what other people wanted for me. So any of you out there that are being told, like, don't get into real estate, you need to get a real job or something like that, or real estate's too risky, and this is what you want to do, you need to lean into that in a major way, because you don't want to wake up being, you know, in your mid 40s and going like, why didn't I do that, or mid 60s or 50s or whatever, and going, why didn't I start earlier?
No, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I'm super thankful for, is be involved in real estate since 2007. You know, I've traveled the world, I've surfed like so many different surf destinations, I snowboarded down a bunch of different mountains, and I got it all out of my system. And so now I'm able to focus on home life more, which is, you know, being there for the kids. And, which is, it's totally a game changer.
Oh, that's awesome. I love hearing that. Yeah, and you got into it so young. I'm a little jealous.
What instrument do you play, or do you sing?
No, I was actually, I played piano. I thought I was going to grow up and be a concert pianist. And then I also played the bass. That's how I met my husband. I was a bass player. I was a bass guitarist in a rock band, and he booked my band at a club.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so then we went on tour for like 2 years and ate off the McDonald's dollar menu. And I actually got incredibly sick of doing that. And I was sick and tired of being poor, a poor musician. And that's how I ended up being in law school, to be honest with you, because I thought it was a way towards financial freedom. I didn't realize that, oh no, this is actually just a way to get a really stressful job.
That's so awesome. So like Jules, she plays the piano.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got one like, what was it, like 8 months ago? I was like, screw it, I'm buying a piano off Craigslist.
That's exactly what I did. That's so awesome.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
I play like a couple hours a day. I'll never be a concert pianist, but it's my like therapy time for me.
Oh, I love hearing that. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take your cue, because I have not touched the piano at all. And every week I go, today's the week I'm gonna start playing again, and I have not quite gotten around to it.
Yeah, you just gotta sit your butt on the bench.
Just start playing.
I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna take this as inspiration.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, Jillian, so thank you so much for being a part of our show. For our viewers or listeners to get a hold of you, get in touch with you, or know what like things that you're like what you're up to. I know you have some programs. Can you relay some information of what you have and where you're at?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So guys, if you want to learn anything about, raising capital for your business, no matter if it's real estate or otherwise, you can reach us at privatemoneyrockstar.com. We don't have a lot going on right now because we're kind of in a hiatus, but if you need any information, you can email me at Jillian@privatemoneyrockstar.com. Or you can check us out at Multifamily War Room, and that's where you can get all of our cool real estate information. So whether you're looking for raising capital, privatemoneyrockstar.com, or looking to get into real estate, Multifamily War Room.
And is that a website, Multifamily?
Yeah, multifamilywarroom.com. I should have probably ended with the .com.
I didn't know if it was like a group on Facebook or something.
Yeah. Oh no, actually, that's a great point. We have a really great group on Facebook for Multifamily War Room, and for Private Money Rockstar for that matter, where I do a special like education segment every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to ask me questions live, you can do that at 1 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday.
Cool. Very nice. Awesome. We'll get in there, and thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing show. So happy to have Jillian on our show. What'd you think, Ben?
I loved it. I thought she was awesome. I definitely learned some new things and storing it in my bank of beer.
That was great. Really excited to have Jillian on our show. So thank you for tuning in. Really, if you enjoyed the show, hit the subscribe button. Other than that, Impulse is not an impulse buy. Impulse is a desire to think and grow rich. Peace.